Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are actually taking a look at a World of Warships game that I played recently. I haven't played Warships in a little while. It's been a few months, but I'm getting back into it just for the sake of old times. I've actually started a new account, so my account name is now Blue Shifted. As I'm running into this New Orleans here, I'll just kind of talk a little bit about that. I really just kind of wanted a fresh start. And to start off with, I started off by playing the American Light Cruiser line. I've played a little under 50 games so far. I've managed to get up to Tier 6. And I'm playing my Dallas in this game. We are on, I forget what map this is called, but I'll try and put it on the screen right now for you. And I am going to the eastern area of the map. Why am I doing this? So the reason I'm going to the eastern area of the map is two reasons. First, one that's kind of unique to the Dallas, and second, one that I think applies to most ships in the game. So for the Dallas, there's a lot of islands that I can kind of lurk around behind, and because the area of combat is relatively small and enemies tend to get in a little bit closer, it's safe for me to kind of get in, and it kind of compensates for the fact that I really don't have a very good gun range. Now, the other reason is more general. So typically speaking, for most ships in the game, I don't think going to the west is a very successful strategy on this map. And the reason for that is because you'll notice you actually have to go all the way down here into this open ocean, this big old area. If there's destroyers in the middle, you're going to be almost always detected. It's just not really a good situation. And then once you get here, you have to sail through all this open ocean to get to the enemy cap circle. And you're just taking yourself out of the game for a little while. It takes away from your ability to really flex around the map usefully. And in my experience, a lot of times the team that can win this area of the map wins the game because they have cover they can hide behind, and we're going to see that actually get demonstrated by the enemy team later on in this game, spoiler alert. But I find that the team that takes this eastern area of the map usually wins on this map. So this is really where you want to be going in pretty much anything you play, destroyer, battleship, cruiser, whatever. It's just the best area of the map to go to if you want to actually win the game. So anyway, right now I'm doing exactly that. I'm just sitting behind these islands and I'm farming the New York as he's pushing in. My goal right now, I'm noticing, okay, so all of our battleships have gone to the western side of the map, and they are now all chilling because they're afraid of this Junway. Which is a little frustrating for me because I was expecting that if most of our team is going to go west, and in fact we actually, I think, outnumber the enemy force here, but I would expect that if most of our team is going to go west, we are going to win the west. And I think we do eventually, but it takes way too long. They are actually able to kill the Junway. But anyway, for my decision-making process, I look at that and I think, all right, I'm in my Dallas. They have this New Mexico here. They have another battleship back here. They have an Indianapolis. They have a New Orleans. And I have a Fiji and a Kirov. And I'm thinking, okay, I am not too certain that I'm going to be able to hold this flank for very long by myself when or if these guys die. Excuse me. And so, from my perspective, I'm now thinking, all right, I don't really want to be where the Fiji is because I feel like I'm likely to get shot and killed if I go there. So I am trying to back off and kind of kite away. Something that I think is a really good thing to do with the Dallas. A lot of people like to say that, oh, well, in the light cruisers, you need to use islands all the time. And islands are your friend. That's true. But another tactic that can be really effective in these really fragile American light cruisers that don't have a ton of gun range is to kite. So I'll like to keep my battleships at like 10-ish kilometers and just kind of kite away from them and farm them as they push into me. And I find that's a really effective tactic to be able to get a fair amount of damage, burn down some battleships, and also avoid dying because I am making myself a difficult target to hit. So now that that guy's dead, I do want to try and get in a little bit more stuck in. I noticed that they have an Indianapolis back there, and I want to try and get shots on him. And I'm also looking at the other flank. I'm always watching to see, do I need to flex over to the middle of the map to try and help my friends kill enemies that are pushing in. Now, I don't actually notice. I missed a brief window for a shot on a Miyoko over there, but that's all right. He's gone pretty quickly, and we are trying to take a shot at the Indianapolis. So now I notice something, right? I notice they have two Synops pushing in, and those ships are kind of scary, and I want to make sure they die. So what I'm going to do is I am actually planning to kind of kite away and just sort of chill on this region of the map as these guys push in and just farm them as they push in, right? You know, again, that's what you really want to do in these light cruisers. You don't necessarily have to be sitting behind islands all the time, and you can be out in the open. You just have to be really careful about it, and you have to be aware of the fact that you are really easily killable. And in order to compensate for that, you need to use kiting and maneuvering at long-ish ranges, long ranges relative to your gun range, obviously, to be able to do damage to ships that have much more powerful guns and better armor than you. So that's what I'm doing to this Synop. I'm just going to farm him for more damage. Okay, so you'll notice now that we've actually lost the eastern area of the map, the northeastern area of the map, right? And at this point, I think, yeah, we're probably going to lose this game. Yeah, the scores are equal. Yes, we have a lot of battleships, but at the same time, the enemy have a massive tactical advantage. Not only do they have 3/4 of the map, they also have the most important area of the map, right? So, like, we could turn it around on this southwestern part of the map, and we actually kind of will. We could turn it around on this southwestern portion of the map and win the southwestern portion of the map. But despite that, we might still lose just because of the fact that the enemy has the northwest area, and that gives them a tactical advantage because they have all that island cover to shoot over, right? Yeah, they have a lot of cruisers. Yes, we have more battleships, but they have areas of the map that allow them to just farm our battleships from cover. And that's a situation that really is going to hurt us later in this game. So anyway, I'm just going to continue to farm down the Synop. We are going to burn him out. And that is going to now give us a 2-ship lead. But our Fiji immediately dies. So now it's back down to 1 ship. And again, notice the situation we're in, right? We've got battleships in the middle. And ideally, we would want them to be just kind of pushing into that northwestern area of the map, but unfortunately they won't do it, and our Synop is now dead as well. So, this is the situation, right? The enemy have a New Orleans who just died, so now we've effectively won the southwestern part of the map, right? And it doesn't really do us any good, because now the enemy has the northeastern part of the map, and they have all that island cover. Right? Their ships can move around without being spotted because they can duck in between islands and things. Meanwhile, our battleships are constantly getting spammed down, right? The Synop kills our New Mexico. And so now we're in a situation where it's not looking so good. It's tied up 5-5, but they have a much better tactical situation, right? We have our New York kind of in the back, you know, again, debatable whether our battleships played this game ideally, but regardless of that, our tactical map position is a lot worse, and that is going to give us a disadvantage. So what can I as a Dallas do about this, right? Like, let's say you're in your light cruiser and you're in this situation, you're on a map where the enemy wins a significantly advantageous area of the map that allows them to farm your battleships without really you being able to do anything about it, without them being able to do anything about it. What do you do as a Dallas? Well, the hard answer is there's not much you can do. Because they have a New York, they have a Miyoko, they have an Indianapolis, they have a New Orleans. I am a Dallas. I do not have armor. Most of those ships can kill me really, really quickly if I get too close. I don't have torpedoes, so I can't brawl. The Miyoko has torpedoes. I don't know if the India and the New Orleans do. I haven't played those ships. But the Miyoko definitely does. They have a New York back there who could delete me from literally any angle. I just don't want to get mixed up in all that. I can't YOLO in. I have to take the passive route and farm these guys as they push in and try and pick up some kills, right? The only way that I can help my team win the game in this situation is basically just by trying to be an opportunist and punish the enemy for their mistakes. So that's what I'm doing, right? The New Orleans gets himself spotted. I'm taking advantage of it. I set him on fire. And then he goes unspotted again. This is what I mean, right? We've got this area of the map that allows you to really quickly disengage from almost any range because there's all those islands there. And our battleships can't do that because they're constantly being spotted by the Synop, and so their cruisers are able to just farm them. And I can't really do anything that active about it because if I YOLO in and try and kill those guys, I will immediately die. Right? There's not really much to be said about that. And so I'm just trying to conserve my hit points, trying to stay alive, trying to get as much damage as I can. Here's the Miyoko pushing out, and we're going to try and shoot at him. But anyway, what's my plan, right? So my plan is basically, again, to just sit back and try and farm these guys for a little bit, try and get them down really low to the point where one of my battleships can take a shot and hopefully kill them. You know, I'm also kind of relying on my battleships to hopefully do a little bit to attack these cruisers, but it seems to me that they're all shooting the Synop. which is weird to me because the Synop is running away into their base, right? So if our Julio Cesare and our Helena and our New York just were to go into the northwest area of the map together, we could maybe win this. But instead, we're choosing to charge across the middle of the map into a kiting Synop and die. And I don't have a lot of choice in this matter because I am a Dallas. And if I am on my own, I will get deleted. Again, I can't go into that northwestern area of the map alone. So, now I'm thinking, all right, my guess is that Synop is going to turn around, right? I think the Synop is going to think, all right, I've killed the Hood. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go fight the Julio Cesare. And I'm thinking, okay, I now want to put myself in a position to farm that guy as he pushes in. The reason I didn't want to push up with a Hood was because if I did that, then the Synop was going to turn around and push into me from a much closer distance, and then I was just going to die. And I'm a little frustrated that, okay, we are able to get the New Orleans. Forgot about that, actually. So we get the New Orleans. Great, it's now 4-4. Anyway, sorry about that. You didn't notice anything. Everything's totally fine. Nothing happened. Anyway, so I'm thinking I want to farm this Synop as he pushes in, right? And I want to do it from a reasonable distance because that guy will kill me if he gets a good salvo, even if I'm on almost all of my hit points. I'm in a Dallas, he's a Tier 7 battleship, and he's a Tier 7 Soviet battleship. And unfortunately, this guy's playing it really smart. He's backing up now, right? He's trying to sort of do kind of a reverse kiting thing, and now he's pushing in. Okay. So I'm starting to turn around. Why am I starting to turn around? The reason I'm starting to turn around is I want to kite this guy away. I really, really, really do not want to be in a situation where I'm charging into a Tier 7 battleship because that will not end well for me. And it's not going to end well for our Julio Cesare too. But again, if I had pushed in with that guy, I would just be dying too, and I guarantee the Synop would be choosing to focus me instead of the battleship. So anyway, I'm just going to keep spamming this guy as he pushes in. That's the name of the game right now. Again, when you're a Dallas and you're not top tier and you're in a situation where your battleships are playing passively, your options are really, really limited, right? Because you are so fragile that your ability to make plays on your own and make things happen is not very good. So what that means is that I am restricted by what I can do by the fact that we don't really have any presence, right? I mean, we've got a New York who's in a passive area of the map. We've got a Julio who's pushing in and killing himself for, again, no reason, right? If he wanted to push in, the way to do it would have been we'd need our battleships to push into the northeastern area of the map, right? We needed our battleships to kind of be aggressive in this area, but they're being aggressive in this area, right? Because we've won this part of the map because they went there early. But as I said earlier, that doesn't work out so well because you're pushing into ships that have better positions, that have cover, and you're just getting farmed. And that's exactly what happened to our ships in this game. Because we didn't win this area of the map, we ended up being in a situation where we needed to push to get map control, but because of the way the map is laid out, we had a huge disadvantage. So anyway, I'm just going to try and continue farming down the Synop. We're going to get him low, but we're not quite going to be able to pull out the win. And again, spoiler alert, this game is not going to actually end in a win. The Synop is now going to kill our Julio. He's healing up. And oh boy, this is not going super hot. I do not have IFHE on this crew, this captain, so I'm not able to do a ton of damage to these guys just from my HE penetration alone. I'm only able to really do fire damage. But now we've got 2 fires on the Synop, so hopefully we'll be able to kill him. And now I'm thinking, alright, well, I think we've probably lost. I was thinking that a while ago, to be fair, but now I'm really thinking it. Because now I'm really thinking, okay, it's me and a New York against most of their team. And I'm able to kill the Synop, so okay, maybe there's hope. Maybe we can do it, right? Might be possible. But now I'm in a situation where I can't really turn around, right? I've been kind of backed into a corner. I couldn't charge into the Synop to get away from the New York. But because I was running away from the Synop, now I have to charge into the New York, because if I try and turn around, he's just going to delete me. So now I have no choice. I have to YOLO into this guy because of the way I'm positioned, right? I will literally die faster if I try and turn around and get out of here than if I just push in. So now I'm just going to try and push in and farm this guy. And we are actually going to do pretty well, which is nice. I'm just continuing to kind of spam him down. I'm trying to set fires. I'm trying to hit his superstructure. Again, not having IFHE on this captain, I only have up to Demolition Expert, which is kind of helping me get a lot of fires. But at the same time, because I don't have IFHE yet, I'm not able to do a ton of damage. And you'll notice I'm constantly being aimed at, right? So I'm constantly trying to maneuver and just try not to die. And I believe this is the point in the replay when our New York dies. Yeah. So now the New York is dead. And, well, that's life, I guess. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, there's 40 seconds left. I just want damage at this point, so we're just going to try and get damage. So now I'm turning around because the New York has just fired, and at this point, I'm trying to maximize my damage rather than pull out a miracle win, which means I'm okay with taking a couple hits in order to just farm as much as I can. So that's what we're going to try and do. I'm just going to kite away from this guy now and just try and get a little bit more damage off of him. And I don't actually believe we die in this game. Yeah, this guy's going to miss his last salvo, and there's 13 seconds left. So I am going to manage to get 110,000 damage in my Dallas in a Tier 7 game in a situation that we could very easily have lost. So before the replay ends, I'm just going to pause it and just talk a little bit more about the takeaways from this game. So what's important to take away? The first important thing to take away is how to play this map. The important thing is this is the most significant area of the map, right? If you could take this, you are likely to win. Because if you can take this area of the map and the enemy wins this area of the map, even if it's an even score, you have a huge advantage. Because in order for them to get anything done from here, they have to push out. And when they're doing that, they're being farmed by people in here, right? So when our battleships tried to push through here, they tried to push through here, they just got farmed by the players who had taken this position. If our battleships had come this way instead and we had won this area of the map, then we would have been in that situation. We would have been doing the farming. I could have been sitting in these islands farming their battleships as they had pushed in. I might have had an even bigger game. But instead, we didn't. We pushed down here, and it was not good. So, takeaway number one. Takeaway number two. How to play your light cruisers, how to play your Dallas when you're in a situation where your top tiers aren't doing so hot and you don't really have battleship support and the enemy does. When you're in that situation, unfortunately, the best thing you can do is kite away, right? It would be tempting to just sit, like, I had two options here, right? When the enemy was winning this part of the map, I had two options. I could have sat behind the islands here and here and here and here and tried to farm them. But then I would have just died as I was trying to kite away. I wouldn't have been able to be here to farm down the Sinop. Instead, I thought, okay, so we only have cruisers here. They have a couple battleships. I don't think we're going to be able to hold this part of the map. So what I did instead was I flexed down here to try and fight the enemies that were pushing in here, because if we're going to win a flank, we may as well at least win one flank, right? It's not like me staying here is going to help us win this flank because they have so much more support and so many more ships. Because remember, we actually outnumbered the enemy down here. So most of our team was here, and most of their team was in this region. So that's the other takeaway, is really that when you're playing your light cruisers, kiting is definitely your friend, right? Just as much as islands are your friend, kiting and sailing in the open ocean can be your friend too, right? I was able to survive to the end of this game, get 110,000 damage in my glass cannon Dallas. Although whether it's that much of a cannon is debatable, but regardless. And I was able to do that in large part because it was, even though I was sailing in the open ocean, I wasn't using islands for that large a portion of this gameplay. A lot of my damage was scored by sailing around in the open and just kiting away from battleships. And that's a tactic that's totally legitimate. So don't listen to people who just say you just need to hide behind islands and spam people. You don't just have to do that. It's a useful strategy, yeah, but it's not the only tool in your toolkit to help you succeed. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay classy, be kind to each other, and I hope to see you next time.